Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you, I guess what you could call an updated face makeup routine tutorial. Back in winter, coming up to Christmas and the holiday season, I did like a really full glam makeup tutorial. It was like full coverage foundation and like loads of highlighting, concealing and contouring and all this extra unnecessariness. I mean, obviously it's not completely unnecessary. If that's your thing, then like you go for it. But as summer's been going on, I've really been into the whole no foundation at all makeup look. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys how I did that. For those of you out there who, I mean, not everybody likes to wear foundation. A lot of the time I put foundation on and it feels like really heavy on my skin, and like I put it on and I'm constantly wondering like, am I getting oily? Am I getting shiny? Like, when can I take this off? So I've really been into the whole no foundation at all. So I know some people that may be a bit of a weird concept. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Obviously, since this look is very skin focused, you know, there's very little coverage on your face at all. The most important thing is your skincare. Before you put any kind of makeup on your face, you need to make sure that your skin looks good, because if your skin doesn't look good, the makeup is not going to look as good. So I'm just going to run you through a few things that I do with my skincare. So this is kind of mainly all I really use for my skincare. So every night where am I going to pull? I'm just going to like do this. Right, so, oh no, I dropped it. Okay, so the most important thing in your skincare, aside from the products that you're using, is that you're keeping up a routine. There is no point having all these fancy products, you're only using them once a month and expecting your skin to look amazing. It doesn't work that way. And also, on the flip side, it doesn't matter if you are using slightly cheaper products if they work for your skin and you're using them regularly. So every night I go in with the Biore charcoal face cleanser. This is really good for oily skin types because it helps to control oil. The charcoal like gets into your pores and clears out any gunk that's in there, and I use that on one of these rotating face brushes. This one does look really mank, so don't watch that because I'm gonna get a new one. This is the one from Vanity Planet. This is the Spin for Perfect Skin. And then after that I go in with the Garnier SkinActive Moisture Bomb Super Recharging Antioxidant Gel Cream Night. That is a long name. I do like this cream for my skin type because it's a gel, it's not too heavy, but then it still packs in all that moisture. And if I do have any like really prominent spots or scars, I'll mix in like a drop of lavender oil in with this cream. It leaves the skin nice and smooth and supple, and also helps to heal those scars and get rid of those spots. So then in the morning, to cleanse my face, I use the Simple Kind to Skin Vital Vitamin Foaming Cleanser. It comes in a bottle like this with a pump, so it looks really liquidy, and then you pump it out and it's like a foam. It's really like soft on the skin. It's moisturizing as well, which for oily skin types is actually a good thing, because if you keep your skin moisturized, your skin's not going to be overproducing all that oil because it thinks it's too dry. So that's what I use in the morning. Sometimes if I want a bit of an extra scrub, I'll use the Clear Skin Oil Balancing Facial Scrub. I wouldn't recommend using this every day. You shouldn't use scrubs on your face every day because that can be too abrasive and then actually make the skin worse. So I will use that occasionally, maybe like once a week or two, if I have like clusters of spots that are just not leaving and they need that extra bit of like scrub action to get rid of them. And then after that, to moisturize my skin, I've recently started using the Clear Skin Oil Balancing Moisturiser, and I do quite like this. Before I was using the face cream that goes with the Garnier one, so the Garnier Moisture Bomb Day one. That one is quite nice, but I've just recently switched to this one and I like that one slightly better. Now, I did say that this makeup routine was no foundation, but that does not mean that it is no makeup at all. So it's still extremely important to prime your face. My face is clean, cleansed, moisturized and everything, so now I'm going to go in with a primer. Normally I would use the Benefit Professional just in this kind of area, my forehead, to fill in pores and control shine, but since I have no plans today, I'm not going to be wasting fancy product like that, so I'm just going to go in with the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot. It's not as good, but I mean, as I said, since I'm not going anywhere, it's going to do a job. So I have a little bit on the back of my hand there. I'm just going to take some on my middle finger, start in this area of my cheeks here where I have pores, rub it to distribute it, and then take these two fingers and pat it into the pores. And that's what's going to help that pore filling action, because this patting motion is going to close the pores as opposed to rubbing, which could open them even more. So pat it into the pores like that, and then a little bit in the middle of the forehead, basically anywhere you get shiny. So through my T-zone, forehead, and then a bit on my nose because my nose is quite porous as well. So to prime the rest of my face, I'm going to be taking the NYX Angel Veil Primer. I've recently been really liking this. It keeps the face nice and matte, but then it's not, because it's not marketed as an overly mattifying primer, it doesn't leave the skin looking dry, so it keeps it matte, but then it still has a little bit of a glow going on. And then for a little bit extra oil control, I just mix in a drop, like tiniest drop of Inglot Duraline. So I have a little bit of that on the back of my hand there, so I'm going to take some on my finger and just kind of swipe it or over my face to get an even distribution. So I do the nose, bridge of the nose, mustache, we're getting that. And then I'm actually going to pat it in using a sponge. And the reason that I do this is because when you're using that rubbing action with your finger, that causes micro exfoliation. You end up with more texture on the skin. Whereas if you're patting it in, the same as when I said with patting into your pores, it makes it lie flatter on your skin. And then when you're putting product over the top, it just looks smoother. The skin looks nicer. This does work as well if you are using foundation. It's not just like a no foundation trick. So using a sponge then is always good. Also, because it's a sponge, it's obviously going to suck up extra product, because there is such a thing as over priming your face. You don't want to have too much excess product, otherwise that's when you get build-ups and your face just looks cakey. So as you can see, the primer has already started to control the oils in my face. It already looks slightly more matte, but it doesn't look dead. So now my face is primed, the next thing I'm going to do is conceal. The first concealer I'm going to go in with is one that I've recently started using. This is the NYX HD Studio concealer. This is in the shade 8. I don't know if this is the darkest shade that they do. This was just the darkest shade that I found in the store at the time. It is kind of close to my skin tone, but it's like slightly lighter, so it's gonna have that tiny little bit of highlighting effect without the whole like huge triangles up here and the forehead here, and so then it's gonna blend more naturally into the skin while still brightening everything up. And then obviously, as you can see, I still have like some spot scars and things like that here, so I'm going to spot conceal. I'm going to use the LA Girl ProConceal, surprise surprise, in Chestnut. This is my skin colour, but because some of these scars are slightly darker, I'm just going to colour correct ever so slightly with a bit of the red one. So starting with the NYX, I'm literally just going to take the tiniest bit and put it right close to my eye. Like that's it, that's all I'm going to use. I'm not going to do the whole full triangle thing and then here on the forehead, just because I feel like the more you put on, the less natural it's going to look, because it doesn't have any foundation to blend into, so you don't want to overdo it on the products. So I'm going to leave that to sit while I spot conceal the rest of my face. And the reason I do that is when you let the concealers dry down a little bit, it increases the coverage, and also when you blend it out, because it's not as wet, the sponge doesn't absorb as much of the product, so it spreads further, you get more out of it basically. I mean, NYX isn't exactly expensive, but if you're paying for it, you want to get the most out of your money. So when to start spot concealing, I'm going to take the red and just put a tiniest bit like here, wherever I can just see like little bits, blemishes. I'm not going to do every single little one because I'll be here for years, and then that will defeat the object of no makeup, which is basically what this is. Like, it's okay to have blemishes, like we all have them, it's just the bigger ones, you just want them to be a little bit less visible. And then straight over the top of that, I'm going to add the skin tone shade so that when I blend it, they kind of mix together. I know some people like to color correct, blend it out, set it, and then put their skin tone one on top of it, and if that works for you, you can do that. This is just a technique that I like to do. I just like to mix them in when they're wet, so I'm just going to go straight over the top with the skin tone shade. And this I am going to blend out immediately. I'm not going to leave it to set because I don't mind there being sheerer coverage. I don't mind if the blemishes do show through a little bit. I just want them to be slightly less prominent than they already are at the moment. I'm going to take the tip of my sponge, squeeze it slightly so it's even sharper, and then start to dab on top of that concealer to blend it in. You don't want it to spread too far, otherwise, again, that defeats the object of it because it's just going to go all over your face. So the reason I got into this whole like no foundation thing in the first place is because I went traveling for a while. Like, that's why I disappeared for so long. I went on a little traveling trip around Europe, and I was like traveling by train across countries and staying in hostels and things, and like because of that I was just eating so much shit. Like, you're on a low budget, you don't have like a set place where you can eat every night for cheap. The hostel kitchens aren't that great, so you can't be cooking like elaborate 3-course meals. So I was just eating the most crap, meaning that then when I came back, my skin was just a shambles. Like, it was a mess. So then I didn't want to cover that up with makeup, because obviously that's going to clog my pores up and that's going to make it worse. So I came back and I just kind of stopped wearing makeup for quite a long time, and I was really just focusing on my skincare. I was trying to like do masks as much as I could. Like almost every day I was doing a mask, which obviously isn't really recommended because it's apparently too much for your skin, so probably shouldn't do that. But yeah, I was doing a lot of masks, and I was like really paying attention to my night skincare before I went to bed and my morning skincare, and it has cleared up a lot. Obviously I still have a lot of the scars, which is why I'm spot concealing, but then when I started to just wear powder instead of foundation, people were like, oh, you know, your skin looks really healthy and it's like glowing and you've got a tan. And at first I was a bit skeptical, but then I was like, you know what? I'm actually popping. And also, it takes so much less time than doing like full foundation. Like, nobody has time to be doing that every day. Like, it's not that deep. And in the summer weather, you don't want to be getting all shiny and oily, so you just want to have less product on your face anyway. So literally since I've come back from that trip, it's been like nearly a month. Since then, I've not worn foundation, like not once. Not to say that I'm never going to wear foundation again, because I own far too much foundation to not wear it. I'm not going to let that go to waste, but I feel like I'm not as reliant on it now as I used to be. So I blended that in, and already you can see like how much better my skin looks. Like, obviously there are still blemishes there, but like I said, they're just slightly more faded. Like, I don't mind people seeing that I have imperfections. I have imperfections, like I'm human, I don't care. So now I'm gonna blend in my under eye concealer. And you can see it like instantly, just a nice amount of coverage, a nice bit of highlighting effect, but it doesn't look crazy. It blends really nice and easily into the skin. Like, these NYX concealers, investment. Well, I mean, I say investment, they're not even expensive, but like, they are not to be slept on. Now for me comes the most important part, and that is face powder. That is obviously the thing that I need because I'm an oily skin type, so I need that kind of like mattifying effect. If you have drier skin, or you just like your skin to look really dewy, like, you don't have to wear powder. This is just something that I like to wear. Recently I've been using the RCMA no color powder. This shit, where has this been my whole entire life? When they say this has no color, this has no color. This stuff is amazing. I mean, this packaging is a little bit shit, but I just depot it into like an old powder package, and then you Gucci. So I have the powder here, and let's just go in all up on my face. I know you're probably thinking, like, you said that you didn't want to wear foundation because you don't want makeup all over your face and it's heavy, and the difference being that this is just powder. It's not powder foundation. It's not foundation. Foundation and powder foundation are so much heavier. When you put powder on, it's just like a light layer. It's just going to absorb those extra oils. Like, it's not going to be clogging the pores up. Well, I mean, at least that's what I'm telling myself. So I'm gonna take a lot because I like powder, and obviously I know this is gonna look hella crazy because it looked white, but this powder truly is no color. So when it settles down, it's just gonna be your skin. So obviously you want to be setting all that concealer under the eye, on the face, on the eyelids if you have like eyeshadow primer on, because this look is interchangeable. Like, it can be dressed up to like full glam if you want to do like some really elaborate eye makeup, or it can be used as like everyday no makeup, like just throw on some mascara and some lipstick or whatever, even nothing at all, and either way it works. So that's the thing that I do like about this, and it saves so much time, and you don't have to worry about foundation not matching and it being the wrong formula and the wrong undertone. Like, all that shit is just, it's just long. Now I've blended it in and the powder is starting to settle. You can see that there isn't really much of a white cast. Obviously there still is a little bit because it's still sitting fresh on top of the skin, but then the more it sinks in, the more that's going to go away. So I'm going to do like a little bit of powder contouring just to add a tiny bit of definition to my face. So I'm going to use the Sleek Face Form. So this matte powder here is the contour that I use. As you can see, it's not overly dark. It is very similar to my skin tone. So it's just going to have that, give that little bit of nice, very light definition that still looks natural. So I'm going to take this brush. Look how pretty it is. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be a blush brush, but you girl don't wear blush, so I'm going to use it for contour. I'm going to pinch it like this so I get like a flatter line. Find my cheekbone. Draw my initial line. Draw. And then I'm going to use it fully fluffy and blend that out. Do the same on the other side. I'm actually using like the tiniest amount. Like I dipped into it twice. I tapped off twice, even though there wasn't even really any excess. Like the tiniest little bit. Obviously I know I have this in the way, but normally I would go like around the forehead, so I'm just going to go around here a bit. And then some under my chin. I don't really know if this does anything, but I don't know, I just do it anyway. So with a look like this, I think more important than contour is highlight. You can really go ham with the highlight on this because it's just going to make the skin look so dewy and so fresh and even more natural. So I like to go in with a cream highlight and then go over the top with a powder highlighter for that extra like pow. So I'm going to start with the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in Highly Wasted. I'm just going to use my finger for this. This is the great thing about ColourPop, like all their products like shadows or basically this kind of like creamy formula, it works great with the finger. So I'm just going to take my middle finger and like pat it on my cheekbone. I don't even know if you can see, but it has a really nice kind of like pink shift. I'm not going to bring the cream all the way up around my cheekbone as I usually do. I just want to concentrate it here, so then when I put the powder on top of it, most of the shine is concentrated right here, and then I can bring the powder up around here just to kind of blend it a little bit more. Now for the powder highlight, I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution Strobe highlighter in the shade Rejuvenate. Can't we just take a minute? Come on. There's different product in here though, so I'm gonna use that bitch. Just. Oh my god. Oh my god. Honestly, I was in tears when I dropped this highlighter. I was so upset. I fully wanted to like sweep it up off the floor and repress it, but that's dirty. You should not do that. Only the good time. Now on to brows, and the good thing about this is because you have so little face makeup on, you don't have to do that much with your brows. I mean, I don't really anyway, just because I already have thicker brows, so if you have more sparse brows, you may want to do more with them. But normally on a day where I'm just wearing makeup like this, I'll literally just like throw on some brow gel, if that, and just call it a day. Like, don't look at my brows at the moment because they are a complete shambles, and I'm just gonna say that I'm trying to grow them out, but they always look a mess, to be honest. So I'm just gonna throw on some brow gel. I'm gonna start halfway through so that most of the product gets concentrated there. Comb the brow down and then go to the front, like fluff up the hairs and then bring them across. That's literally it. And the final step with this makeup look, as with any other makeup look, is of course setting spray. Normally I use the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day. It keeps me really nice and matte. It like melts the makeup into the skin and it looks really nice. But as I said at the beginning, cinch girl ain't going nowhere today. Not wasting fancy product like this. So I'm just going to use this one. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. I do still like this one. It's not as heavy duty, so it's fine for like a day to day. This one, you want to make sure that you shake it because it's got this like white sediment at the bottom. So if you don't shake it and mix it all in, you're just going to end up with white spots all on your face. And we all know how that can look. If you know what I mean, because I'm not talking about setting spray. Anywho. Spritz. And then it really intensifies that highlight. Not that it needs to be even more intense, but BAM! And you're done. So yeah, guys, that is it for this look. Like I said, because it's so interchangeable, I didn't even bother with any eye makeup. I literally just threw on a lipstick and called it a day. Like, you could literally do anything. You could go full glam eyes, liner, lashes, glitter, everything. You could do absolutely nothing at all. And either way, your skin's still gonna look popping. So I hope you found this video helpful. As I said before, this is not me in any way trying to say that you should stop wearing foundation completely, and like you should never wear it again. It's a waste of time. If you like wearing foundation, carry on. This is just to give you an extra alternative for those days where you may be running late and you don't have time to put foundation on, your skin is not in a good shape and you don't want to clog it foundation, you just don't feel like wearing it. Like, at least this way you have options, and also it allows you to just embrace your natural skin. Don't feel ashamed of any flaws or imperfections, because we all have them. Okay, so just love yourself. I'm gonna stop being cheesy. I'm just gonna stop this video now. Goodbye.